Hello, how are we? I want you to know that I'm recording this podcast episode because a client bullied me to, and so that's what we're doing. I have literally just come off the back of a six-figure safety call with two of my clients. It was just a really nice, intimate call, and we did so much. We did so much, and I want to talk to you about it because I think it's really important to understand what goes on in these calls, understand when you are in a position where maybe you need to make up a little bit of cash, or if you're like building out a newer offer, how you can do that. And now you might think, Emilie, you're a money coach. Why are you helping people build out offers? And because simply, you need to sell something to make money. You need to sell something to make money, to be able to use that money to do all the things. So yes, my work includes sales. So let me talk about it with the two ladies who are in this call. So first of all, we had a systems client experience expert, and she has a kind of done with you program, and she's done so well. I think she did a launch back in September 2025 and has basically sold out all her spots and going into Q1 as well. So she has sold all of her spots for January, and I'm pretty sure like February, and there were just a few left in March that she's going to wait until 2026, sorry. And so she came with this predicament of like, she has this goal to make 10k months. That is her goal. Now we know financially, and the first thing I wanted to check with her was, okay, is this like, I need to make 10k because that is like, if I don't make that, I don't actually have the cash flow? Or is it that actually I do have the cash flow, I just like to make sure that I am consistently hitting 10Ks. And so for this particular client, it was that she wanted to continue hitting 10K months. She had the cash flow. It wasn't necessarily an issue of like making bills. It was like, it's just a nice little challenge. You might even know who I'm talking about if I say like, she loves challenge. She loves challenge. She's going to set herself a goal and she's going to go hit it. But the predicament that she came to me with was, well, I've got this offer, but I've sold out all these spots, so I can't sell any of those. And I've recently retired another offer, so I can't sell any of those. And she kind of was like, okay, well, I've got this audit, I've got this one-to-one call, and I've got another kind of course. She was already quite happy there, being like, actually, because you challenged me, I've realised I do have 3 things that I can sell. And so I actually I feel all right. And I was like, no. And I was like, does the audit come with, so the audit is $250, the one-to-one call was $650. No. Together, if people bought the audit, the audit and the one-to-one call separately, yes, the audit's $250, the one-to-one call is $400. So I was like, does the audit come with a call? Because I was like, well, if I've just had like my client experience audited, I'm then going to want to talk to someone about how I can make it better. Like, I know with most audits, you get like, here's an email with all the things you need to do, but that's just not for me. That's not how my brain works. And I know for a lot of people, actually, it's better to then actually get on a call with someone. So I was like, oh, does the audit include a call? And she was like, no. And I was like, there you go. We kind of looked at the time of the year, it's December, the time of recording, and we know that people are wrapping up 2025, they're reviewing what worked, what didn't work, and they're looking into 2026 and what they want to improve. I think systems and client experience are huge ones this year because everyone's up in their game, so you want to make sure that your client experience is really good and that your systems are really simple so that they're saving you time but also making the client experience better. So I was like, right, this is the offer to sell. The sell is for a limited time only at the end of the year. These 2 things, they're being bundled. It's the audit and a call. You get it together and we're going to audit basically what happened in 2025 with your, how did you get through what was working, what was not working with your systems, kind of same thing with like client experience, right? Like what was working, what isn't working, what would you like your clients to, all of those. So that then you can draw up the plan for 2026 and how they're going to change things and what they need to implement and what they need to shift. So it's still the audit, they're getting a little bit more hand holding, and this is then the perfect buy-in for her next offer. So her next offer up was that done with you offer that she's pretty much like sold out on. And I was like, this is perfect, because what's going to happen is people are going to like go away and be like, that feels like a lot, I need some help doing that. Now they have experienced working with her and seeing how her brain works and her experience and how she's like, yeah, you need this system and this is how it would work, and I can set that up for you. She can then really easily upsell. So for this lower ticket price, so together it was going to be, if you bought them separately, it would be $650, and we decided that let's bundle them and make them like a limited time offer. There's a limited number of these kind of audits, and you know, it will be around 500. It's such a perfect buy-in, because straight away people who maybe are not at that level of commitment, they're not ready for that level of commitment, they are going to get the experience of working with her. They're going to they're going to see her expertise, and they're going to start to see like the holes within their systems. So it then positions like, okay, if this is something I want to change in 2026, which of course they do, they already know, well, this is the person I'm going to go to. So that was the first offer that we kind of created. And so she now knows, like, I can go away and I can sell that. She's going to go away, she's going to look at her calendar, she's going to map out where those calls are going to go, and she's going to start selling them. And I already know they're going to go like hotcakes. So that's very exciting. And that kind of bridged that gap of, there's nothing I can really sell right now because I'm sold out here. So yeah, I don't really know what to sell, but I have space to sell, because she doesn't have those spots until, you know, the people in her Done With You offer don't start until January. So she's like, I've got time to make some money, and I want to make some money. So how do I make money? And that was what we came up with. So that was for client one. For my second client, she came to the call with, I want to sell a retainer spot. That's been her like goal for like the last couple of weeks. We're kind of working on it. And she was like, also, I had this idea at 2 a.m. that I want to work, like I just want to like walk through. And I loved it. I loved it. So basically, she is a kind of content creator, social media manager blend. And she had this idea where basically she self-coaches through when she doesn't want to show up. So when she doesn't want to post, or she doesn't want to show up on stories and this, that and the other, she self-coaches. And she was talking me through her self-coaching process. And she was like, I know this would be really helpful for loads of people, because I know that one of the biggest pain points that my customers have is that they need me to show up for them because they are struggling to show up themselves. And so they need almost like the coaching through that. And so it became, and she was like, I don't want it to be journaling because I don't resonate with journaling, but this is something that I do. And I was like, I totally relate to that as myself. Like, I'm someone that obviously with money coaching, with mindset coaching, journaling makes up so much of what I do. I have to advise it. I have to advise it because it just works. But I don't know why. There's certain things in my head that I'm like, oh no, journaling. I don't know why. So we kind of worked out, how could we not call it journaling? And how does this work as an offer? So essentially we built out this offer, which is going to build this Notion dash, or, you know, Google Doc. It's going to be some sort of dashboard where there are mini trainings around, you know, almost like a mindset audit of, you're noticing that you're not showing up on social media, you're not being visible enough. Maybe you notice that are you self-sabotaging on social media? Because I'd be like, yes. Even though I post quite consistently, I'd be like, yes, because I refuse to post reels. Because I refuse to be visible in that way. And I know that that's a me thing. And I know that if I, you know, I probably should. And I told her, I was like, I will go through this offer when you build it. But she's going to have this dashboard, and it's going to have these mini trainings and essentially coaching questions for people to recognize what are the reasons beyond social media just doesn't work for me and why they're not showing up. Because we, like, basically the whole thing becomes around, they're then going to kind of reflect on that, and then they're going to go away and do a bit of data mining of like, when did I post? What was the results of that? Was I actually asking for the sale in that post? And all of those sorts of things. They then submit that to her. So as part of the like dashboard, there will be a form. They submit that to her. They then have a few other kind of reflection questions around, how do you feel after how did you think that was going to go? Like, looking at your numbers, and how do you feel now having done it? And then basically, because they have submitted their numbers, they're then going to get a free call with her. So this is a lead magnet. So it's this kind of like mindset audit is what we're kind of calling it. There's this like social media mindset audit, visibility audit, I don't know what she's going to end up calling it. And they submit the numbers, and then they're going to get this one-to-one call with her. And on the one-to-one call with her, she then gets, it's almost like a 3-in-1, and it's a win-win for both her and the client. It's not going to be a full 60-minute call. It's going to be more like 15, 20, 30 minutes long, where they get on the call and they talk about the numbers. They talk about what the numbers mean. So obviously, with her being like in social media and in content and kind of content marketing, she can help them understand their numbers and maybe what's working, what's not working, and what their next steps are. And then also the client now has this awareness of like, these actually are the areas around my mindset that's coming up here. And they now have this process that they can use going forwards to help them show up online. This works as a win-win for both clients, because for my, I'm going to call her content marketer. For my content marketer client, she gets market research from people dropping on the calls and telling them what their thoughts were. And she also gets the data, again, for like a market research point of view. She gets to know, what do my ideal client, what are their pain points, what are their desires, what do they think isn't working. It's going to help her massively with. She gets to then showcase her expertise on the call through helping that potential client understand their numbers and understand how they can work through some of those content mindset blocks. And then I was thinking you could even do a longer call. We did talk about initially it being like an upsell call, and on the call you then build together, say, a month's worth of content ideas. So I think she's going to do a limited amount of spaces, getting the shorter call, which is more market research, and then upsell into a kind of content creation one-to-one call. So her main thing being the retainer that she wants to sell, which is basically she's done for you content. People will then go away and be like, I know, I've like tried to do it myself, and I know that you know what you're doing, you know me now, like they know, you know my business, I'm going to invest in your services. So it works in multiple ways, because she gets to build the trust, the know, like, trust factor with potential clients, and then kind of upsell to them over time. Like, it wouldn't be immediate, like, you've had a call, now come and do this program. It's more, you've done a call, I'm going to help you. You then go away and go, in the back of your mind, you've always got, oh, she could be doing it for me, she could be doing it for me. And then we also realise that as she gets on these calls and it, you know, she's getting fed this market research around what her ideal clients actually want. Because I was like, some of them might not want the full done for you package. They might want more like the content co-creation or content coaching. Keep a note of every lead that you get through and what their like, you know, needs, wants and desires were. And then you can, let's say you find the trend, you can build out offers, or maybe you just have some offers that are in your back pocket that you can be like, this would be perfect for you. But you can use that data to make those decisions to make more money. How can we maximize our offers we've already got, but also how can we drive our ideal clients, our potential customers through that buying decision process? And at the moment, what I'm seeing work really well is this idea of like, here's a lead magnet or a freebie. And it kind of goes back to this like original, like, you had the ascension model, right, with offers, where it was like you have a low ticket, a mid ticket, and a high ticket. And people largely, I feel like, have moved away from that, and I get it. But there's obviously some occasions where I think it does really work. I think it's now more, let's look at the problems. Like, does this, it's almost like the root, I call it like problem pathways. You know, they have to go through that. Doing a lead magnet and then jumping into a £2,500 program, that's quite a jump. And now some people will do it. Of course they will, because the offer will be right for them. But some people will just need to know a little bit more. They'll need to gain that trust factor with you. So if you can get them on a call and you can genuinely help them and offer your expertise and showcase how you're going to help someone. I'm currently selling like 2026 planning sessions, because I know that, you know, jumping into a 12-month, £2,500 program, 6-figure safety, is quite an investment. People do it, but I notice that the people that do it either have worked with me before, they know of me, like I'm in a kind of close circle with them, or they know someone else that's in the program, they've been a direct referral. if you like, it's rarer for someone who's completely cold to me to then jump in. So I need that thing that is gonna make them be like, look, I know 2025 I had money goals and I didn't do shit. I want that to be different in 2026, but I don't really know how. I keep stumbling on how am I going to make this happen? How do I do this? Because my money feels like a mess. Blah, 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 blah. Let's hop on a call together. Let's plan it out. Let's map out your entire roadmap for 2026. And people can then credit that call, the cost of that call, into the program. If they then decide to join 6 Figure Safety within 14 days, you can credit that. Okay, so it basically makes the call free. So I love that. It's what then the clients I was just talking to, what they potentially were going to do. The content marketer, it was more like, it's more an upsell and then into an upsell. But yeah, that's what we did on this week's call. And I just think it's so cool that I get to work with clients in this way, and I get to help them not only on managing the money. So these clients have been working with me for 4 months now. They have their cash flow system set up. The money management isn't the issue now. So now we're filling in the gaps, and then money management stuff will still come up. We can figure that out along the way, but they have the bulk. So now we get to work on the fun stuff, which is making more money. Anyway, I will see you in the next one.